Um, Welcome everyone to Crowdfunding Countdown. It's me, Chris George. Ha ha ha. Oh, just wait 1 second. There we go. Now I feel more like myself. little little joke. Oh, I should probably shave. Here's the oh god. I wanted to get dressed up for you today. Here's the thing. I'd like to quell some rumors that have been going around lately. It's all been one big joke. Okay? No bears have ever kidnapped any member of my family before, and certainly didn't kill them. This down here, no. I just wanted to clear that up. I've been feeling a little down lately, and so you know me, I like to have a little bit of a laugh, and I just want to make sure that you know that bears are very generous, loving creatures, and I've slandered the bear name long enough. And if I continued to do so, well, then, there would be some grisly repercussions. Yeah, I crack myself up. Oh, kind of like the bones of your mom and dad if you keep on slandering us, Chris. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode of Crowdfunding Countdown, and I'm just gonna go give myself a little bit of a shave and be right with you. But just wanted to make sure that you knew that bears are gentle, loving creatures, and if they invite you over for a game night or a key party, whatever it is, you should accept because nothing bad could ever happen to you whatsoever. I don't have a catchphrase.
I've shaved now. Back to my old self, I guess. So, like I was saying, this is Crowdfunding Countdown, where we take a look at every single board game campaign that's finishing up in the next week. I can't do this. I can't do it. It feels nice to be back to my old self. And we have a very big week to get into. But first off, right away, I want to thank my newest patrons for jumping on board, for jumping on board. Huge thank you to Andrew, Roman, and Alyssa. I really appreciate the extra support now more than ever. And thanks to all of my patrons, because without you, I would have no one. I would have no one. So I'm happy you're here. I'm very happy you're here, and I am very appreciative for all the support. We have another big week. I got 22 tabs open this time, and I've cut a few for time. The games just keep on rolling. It's as though you're all addicts and will just purchase without any time to play them. So why not get into the games of the week? And I wanted to cut a few, but there's a lot of really good ones this week. Starting off with a game that I'm excited about. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Hike It, the backpacking board game. I just really like this one specifically. I saw it at Breakout Con being played, and what's really nice about this one is that you're racing to go on a lovely little hike, and there are these friends that you can pick up along the way. And actually, if you manage to get back to your car first, you get to turn into one of these friends and get to chase the other hikers all throughout the hiking site, just trying to give them a hug, I think. See, by completing your hike first, you earn extra victory point and can return to the game as must be a typo, a friendly friend to scare the remaining hikers back to their own trailheads. To hug the remaining hikers back to their own trailheads. Well, I don't know why this one came up first. It's not triggering to me whatsoever. Rulebook almost halfway down the page, but it's a nice visual page. So each round is going to proceed very similarly. You're going to take your turn. You have the morning phase where you check your weather for the day. And I like this as a mechanic. You'll see there's a forecast here. And you'll roll the dice and see if they match up with any icons on there. And if they do match up, then the weather forecast was correct. And if they don't match up, then you're fine. But if they do match up, then you need to have the thing underneath to protect you from the weather. So if it's too sunny, you would need some water. If it's going to be rainy, you'd need, some clothes, as opposed to you running around naked in the forest, which I hear some people like to do, and it's very nice. Passive bears can be moved by drawing a shoe bear trail card. Well, that is not thematic or accurate at all. The basic premise is you're going to be moving along towards your 3 scenic spots. You've chosen 3 scenic views to view throughout your journey, and you need to move your way towards them on this big old map. There'll be one in here, one in here, and one in here, one in each 3 regions. You gotta go, enjoy the view, live life a little if you're brave enough to leave your house, and then get back to your car before, certain things get you. I'm kind of overselling the impact of the bear mechanic for the joke, but because it's a joke, let's be clear, it's just a joke. I'm safe and sound. That'll buy me a couple more days. But the bears, they kind of just move around as obstacles, and then when you get back, you're just rolling a dice to see how far the bears move and if you can catch up and, give a friendly camper a hug. I kind of wish that mechanic was a little bit more interesting, but it's always hard when you have that shift into the enemy mechanic, which Nemesis has, for example. If you get the heck out and you want to still keep playing it to play as the alien, at least you have some card draw or some interesting decisions. If you like navigating routes and you like picking up stuff, you're going to be picking up different tiles and getting skill checks and getting points for that, for getting skills on your little skill sheet over here. It looks kind of fun. Jenna Rose from Board Game Garden has a great video about it. I do wish her quote stopped at here. As someone who has gone hiking, I like it. That's what I said when I was sending in my audition for the show I did in the summer, Real Estate. I said, as someone who's seen a house before, I think I should be considered for this show. And I got it, so that was good. Shipping. It's 10 to 15, 13 to 17, 15 to 18. So you're looking at 18 to 20, right? Well, you're looking at 15 to 20. You're looking at 17 to 20. But I always go on the upper end. And then it's 55 US for the game. And this is tough because it's actually then like 73 US, like 90 Canadian for me. And that feels a bit too much for this sort of point-to-point movement that I'm not like crazy about. I like that you're collecting things and building up your own little board and you have a limited amount of space that you can put into your backpack. But I also think there's a degree of randomness here, like with the events that you draw at the end, that would be fun, but makes it in that sort of lighter category that I don't want to spend 90 to 100 bucks for. But if you're interested in that, check it out. I think it looks well made. I'm happy that it's crossed its funding goal. I know it was struggling there for a bit. And I think the pieces and the quality is going to be quite nice on this one. So if you're interested, check it out. That finishes tomorrow, Tuesday, November 15th at 10:01 a.m. Oh, it's Tuesday. I should have covered that last week. Sorry, Hike It. Next up, we have Cosmoctopus, which I am looking at again now because my microphone was on mute, because I mute it when I look at things. It makes it easier to make the edits, but it certainly doesn't make it easier to make the edits when the whole video is muted. So here we go, Cosmoctopus. This is a very, very simple game. You're going to have this octopus who's running around this space in the cosmos. You're going to move to a place, do the thing that's on the tile. You have 12 tiles total that you can mix and match in these sort of 9 iteration tiles. So there's a little bit of variability there. And then you're going to get the stuff on the tile, which are usually resources, get cards from up top, which will give you either permanent bonuses or additional resources, or let you purchase a tentacle. And the whole goal of the game is to get 8 tentacles so that this little beautiful buddy will come and sit on your space port. Is that what they call it nowadays? I think so. But the thing is, the funny thing about this game is that you are competing to be the first person to get 8 tentacles, and only then will the Cosmoctopus come to you and sit on your spaceport. And I don't know if that means the Cosmoctopus doesn't have tentacles and they need to go to someone and say, listen, I do not have any tentacles. I'm just this giant blob floating around in space. Please help me. And then you attach the tentacles to them. They get their supreme Cosmoctopus power and probably devour you in the process. Or does it mean that you just need 8 tentacles to wiggle them in some weird space octopus mating ritual and wiggle your tentacles and lure them over so that you can find out if there is life at some end of the galaxy? To be fair, though, it isn't just in space where this mating ritual occurs. You can find that sort of tentacle wiggling in many corners of the world, and also in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Sort of. With the hot dog fingers? God, that movie was good. Anyway, this is too expensive for what it is. It's got a print and play, though. It's £6, $10 Canadian for the print and play. If you want the actual game, it's £39 or $61 Canadian plus $18 in shipping. It says 13, 14, 17, 17 pounds. So that brings it to like the $80, $90 range, where this hits the same as Splendor. And I don't want to pay $90 for Splendor. I want to pay 30 to 40. But it does look fun. I think because this is by the designer of Parks, that's how they'll hook you in. You'll see this maybe in retail, and that's the better place to get it. But if you're interested in that, this finishes November 15th at 10:58 a.m. Moving along to Oathsworn, 9.3 on Board Game Geek really makes Cosmoctopus' 8.3 look just incredibly embarrassing. We've got Oathsworn, and there's been a lot of talk about Oathsworn. I'm not going to talk about Oathsworn in too much detail because I don't need to hype you up that at $2 million they unlocked 4 heavy metal dice, which will chip away at your table if you're like me and just have a table and no game mat. Although if you're buying Oathsworn, you probably have a game mat. The base game's $125 US, $170, and then it's $33 to $39 in shipping for US and Canada. Here's my thing about Oathsworn. There's been so much talk about it being the best game ever made. I think that's the narrative that's been pushed forward this entire campaign. That's the narrative that a lot of people are pushing forward and probably believe. And hey, that's great. I'm glad people are enjoying this game and are loving it, and it looks good. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't look good, but I'm saying that if it is the best game ever made, then I can wait and play all my campaign games and play through Iridia when it gets here, because I think that's going to be better than Oathsworn, the best game ever made, and don't have to spend the money right now to purchase it. I don't need it. The campaign turned me off. And if it's the best game ever made, as we've scrolled through a few thumbnails saying that, then it will live for a long time, and there'll be other ways to get it, and there'll be other ways to get it for a long time. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But if I do reach 10K by the end of the year, I will be happy to spend that money and give it to one of you, because I would love that so much more to give it to somebody who's very, very excited about it than me, who's just, I think it would be good, but I also think it would sit on my shelf for a while, and that makes it an irresponsible purchase for me personally. But if you're interested in it, check it out. That's Tuesday, November 15th at 12 p.m. That's noon, and that's the only time. You better get it now, or else you'll never get it ever again. Just kidding. There will be late pledges for like months, and that's how I will get it and give it to you if we hit that goal. And I think we might. We might not. I think we're going to hit at 9.99, and I will not budge on this. I'll give something else better away at 10K, not Oathsworn. No, I won't give anything away. Almost didn't incentivize people to subscribe, because I need the incentives other than my mediocre personality. Anyway, let's move along to The Queen's Dilemma, a standalone sequel to the award-winning King's Dilemma. Forge your own path through a new competitive narrative legacy experience. And that means that I'm interested in it because I heard the King's Dilemma was good. I know people were excited about that. I know people had fun with it. But I also know that it's a legacy experience, and just, well, for the same reason I'm not getting Oathsworn, I'm not going to get this one. But I'm still interested to see how it plays, and I didn't really look into the King's Dilemma that much because I knew a friend of mine was saying, hey, I'm going to get this. And I said, great, you get it, and then I'll play it with you. And then they never pulled the trigger on it. So never ended up doing that down the line. But it's raised a lot of money. I know the King's Dilemma was well received, and we'll see if this one's any good as well. Had to take a break to do a meeting, and now we're back. So the Queen's Gambit, the campaign game. No, Queen's Dilemma. And here's the thing. I was just looking through their updates, and there's no rulebook. There's no link to the rulebook here. I don't know if it's somewhere in an update, but if it is, you can't expect somebody to go through a bunch of updates for no reason. It's not in the FAQ. It's not in here. All they have is a little how to play thing. And I understand this. I understand that it's basically a legacy that's kind of like the King's Dilemma, and that you're going to get to change things. You get a question and you can say yes or no to these questions, just like real life. Except in this one, you're a queen, and you can have conflicting interests to vote on the balance of power in these four. There's these 4 little tracks, and they're always going to be in contention with each other, so you're going to always want to push the politics in your direction, regardless of the issue, kind of like all politics ever. Doesn't matter your side, I'm on the opposite. That's just the stance we have to take. And it looks fun, because legacy games look fun. It says unlockability stickers, level up your character, get new things as you go along. Legacy games are fun, but you're not telling me anything here that makes me want to spend €100, $136 Canadian to play a legacy game, whereas I could play another legacy game that isn't that much. I mean, I'm interested in it based solely off of the backing of its original thing, but for what it is right now, nah. Especially when shipping is $20 or $35 or $25 to $40. That's a lot of dollars for something that you have to take a chance on. I think if you like King's Dilemma, then you're probably all in on this just immediately. You do get a little mini expansion that you don't have the option of not getting for a cheaper price. Anyway, if you're interested in that, that's also Tuesday tomorrow at 5:59 p.m. We've made it to Wednesday, and we've made it to Canvas, Finishing Touches, the award-winning painting game gets a reprint and a new expansion. So this is the new expansion here. I love the Canvas games because they are designed to hang on your wall. The boxes actually have a little hole in them so that you can hang the boxes on the wall. I just think that's so cool. If you haven't played Canvas before, you're going to be drafting these cards and getting these additional cards. And it's a sort of a card sleeving game where you'll slip your cards into various sleeves and build a picture on top of it. And really the picture doesn't matter at all. What matters are these little symbols below and creating a combination that make the most points. It doesn't matter how visually appealing or unappealing you want your picture to be. No, art is subjective, and the only way of scoring it is by actual points, with art being subjective no longer. And so you can get now 3 expansions for Canvas. My draw to Canvas, I love you Canvas, rulebook right at the top of the page. Too bad I already kind of know how to play it, but I'll see what the Finishing Touches adds to the game. Basically, one of the main changes is that it comes with these little frames, and you can put your paintings in frames and make them look more beautiful than if they were just sitting along the side of the road, like the dirty rejections of art that they are. But my main draw for Canvas would be just the base game. Here you're getting just the deluxe edition of the base game. Obviously it's Kickstarter, so they're just going to be selling the deluxe edition, and the deluxe one had some easels or stuff. And you might want that since it's sold out here, but it's also $42.95 Canadian at 401 Games. And you can get it for $50 US, $68 Canadian, so pretty much double after the shipping. I think for what Canvas is, there's no world in which you're going to want to spend $120 on everything. Like, I get it, but I also think the gimmick of Canvas is that you want to like hold it on your wall, and now your whole wall is going to be these portraits, and they're cool, but I think the gameplay here is primary and not like the art, right? It's hard to make all art be applicable or score well. You know, that's kind of a cool photo, but then you're going to drop some ice cream in here, I think, on this revolving circle. Yeah. And it kind of covers some things up. So, oh yeah, here's your deluxe content. 10 transparent cards, 8 award cards, 100 wooden ribbons. That's where most of the money comes from, or the uptick of price comes from. And I think Canvas looks like a fun game, but I just don't think, there's Canada at $18 US shipping. I just don't think it's worth it. I remember seeing this on Kickstarter back in the day when it was first created, and there we are. And this is actually pretty nice that the price hasn't changed at $49, but I remember the retail price being $28 US, which, you know, roughly translates to $42, which is what it's being sold for right now. And I remember thinking, yeah, I can just get it at retail. It still looks cool. But if you're interested in that, check it out. That finishes Wednesday, November 16th at 12:59 a.m., aka Tuesday night. We're still on Tuesday. Everything's finishing Tuesday. Next up, we have Blob's Origin. We don't. I just, I thought the title Blob's Origin was funny, and that's all I wanted to have this one open for. Next up, just quickly, again, we're not going to cover it that much because we have a lot to cover. We have Cowboy Bebop, the role-playing game. Cowbell Bleep Blop. If you're a fan of Cowboy Bebop, and a lot of people are a huge fan, I'm not a huge fan, honestly. I really like anime. This might be a travesty. I might lose support from a bunch of people, but I thought it was good, but I wasn't overwhelmed with it, but I never got through to the end. So maybe when you get through to the end, it might be something like Trigun, where it kind of gets stale as you go through, and then the end just, you know, makes you sob and blows your mind wide open. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to bring it up in case you didn't know this existed, because I didn't know it existed. There is a role-playing game, so if you like role-playing, you like that world, I think it would be a fun world to do an RPG in, check that one out. That also finishes Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Let's move along to Aqua Garden, the beach combing expansion for 1 to 4 players. Let's pick up shells and trash from the beach, then aim to create beautiful exhibition room and beach. Okay, let's try and do that. Rulebook over halfway down the page. Here's an interesting thing. Here's the original setup for Aqua Garden. You're going to be creating an aquarium. You see all these little aquarium, you're creating sets. You want to get the most people in your aquarium, whatever. And the main action mechanic, you can see this board in Aqua Garden. Actually, let's just go back to the Aqua Garden. Oh, no, that's Ostia. That's the add-on. You can add Ostia. Ostia looks much better. I think the only reason, spoiler alert, that you should get Aqua Garden or Beachcombing is not to. You should just get Ostia instead, because Ostia looked really fun. The one time I want to see what's in the Beachcombing board. Yeah, one beach board. Anyway, so Aqua Garden has this, you're all going to go around the track, but it's the person who's last gets to move and take their turn, and if someone's too far ahead, well, then they can take multiple turns and get multiple things. And it's basically a set collection. That's it. And so with the Beachcombing expansion, you now get 2 things to collect, and so 2 things to decide where you need to go. But, I mean, in most of these games, I don't like this mechanic at all, really. Because this is one of the reasons I don't like Takedo. I don't think Parks is that great. I think it's fine. I just find it too predictable. When someone's ahead, it feels like the game of life in that it's just auto-generated for you. Somebody was very excited and wanted me to cover this, and if you're excited about it, great. I just don't personally like that mechanic, and I also think it's a bit expensive for what you get. You can get all these additional bonuses, which just give you extra meeples and have different effects related to tokens. That's all what the expansions are for. But if you wanted to get Aqua Garden, it's $45 as an add-on, $37 to the Beachcombing pledge, and that clocks in at $82 US and 113 Canadian plus 31 shipping to Canada. It's like 18 shipping to the US. Good shipping to Japan. It's just way too much for what it is, and it doesn't look that great. But it's raised a bunch of money, so there you go. What the heck do I know? I'm happy for the creators that it has, and it's cool how the little meeples intersect with each other in the Beachcombing things. Yeah, it's fun to have your little octopus holding a little meeple bottle. I'm sure it's very well produced. Ostia also looked like it was going to be well produced, but Ostia just, for my liking, seems like a much better game. Anyway, if you're interested in this, check it out. That's Wednesday, November 16th at 11 p.m. Hey, we just cut one because it wasn't funding, and there were 33 backers who'd raised like $3,000, so never interested when that is the case. Next up, we have another expansion, Die of the Dead, the Zolo expansion, an Ofrenda variant, and I'm sure I pronounced that absolutely correctly. Be guided by the Zolo, yeah, or gather the ofrendas in these 2 expansions for Die of the Dead, including the reprint of a base game. Solo. Remember me when I have to say goodbye. Oh, Coco is just the friggin' best. I don't know if I'll be able to really just talk about this game because all I'm doing is thinking about Coco. That's it. That's it. Oh, this is in pounds. That means it's so expensive for me. All right, the base game is 37 pounds, $58. The expansions are 15 pounds each. No, 15 or 20. Yeah, of course, the Ofrenda is the better expansion, so that's why it's more expensive. $32 Canadian, and then 20 pounds. Other one is 24 pounds, 15. Okay, fine. I like this. Way to go, Die of the Dead, though. You actually gave everyone shipping in their own currency. And that is very nice to see, even though that is not very nice to see whatsoever. Okay, this is absolutely ludicrous to purchase, but I'll still tell you about it anyway because, well, purchase for me in Canada. I'll still tell you about it anyway because that's my job. And I am a professional. I thought the Bears would be back. Here's the thing. The regular Die of the Dead, you're going to shake, 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 senora, shake your body right and shake your dice right in these caskets. And then you're going to get to put them onto these steps. The first person to put all their dice on the steps basically wins. And you can manipulate those dice and what numbers pop up with your own, like, player powers, whatever. The solo expansion just lets you, is not a solo expansion. Really missed the boat on that one. But this is a little dog to guide your spirits, to guide of how you're going to shake the souls of the dead and just give them a noogie or a wet toilet whirlpool or whatever those are called that I got in high school. No. Did anybody get those? No, I don't want to know that. I don't want to know those, if that still exists, because that's stupid. Actually, I do want to know if that still exists, and I'm going to drop kick anyone who doesn't. So that's kind of cool. You're putting these tokens to incentivize people for choosing the caskets. That's basically all that is. And then the Ofrenda variant adds a solo mode and a new little board where you can add dice as offerings and get little points and bonuses for that. It seems fine, but it's one of those games where it just doesn't, like, the art pops for me, absolutely, but the cost in terms of getting it to me in Canada doesn't nearly outweigh the amount of fun that I would have with it, I think. But if you're interested in that, check it out. That's Thursday, November 17th at 4:05 a.m. Moving along to Super Snipers, a fast and puzzly dueling sniper game for 1 to 2 players. I like this $6 print and play. Rulebook halfway down a very long page in a very small section. Don't like that. But this does look pretty neat. As long as you follow this don't dig, feel around, or look when you're pulling focus from the bag. 'Cause it's this little dueling polyomino game where you're going to work as fast as possible either in a duel mode or a real-time mode. And I think the real-time mode is the exact way to do it. And you're going to have your little line of sight here, which shows you the polyominoes that you can choose from to place onto your board. And you have to isolate little sections of the board. You start at the edge and isolate the little sections on the board. And you first have to find out where your opponent is hiding and then surround them with polyominoes to kill them. Because we know the only way of sniping somebody down is to shoot at every spot around them first, so they're in the exact location that you've set up your other sniper, and then you just pull the trigger on the sniper. It's just facts. It's just how all snipers do it. But I really like this because you can fake out your opponent. Again, anytime you can fake out your opponent, I'm interested, and try to isolate things. And I like that there's this real-time element of, okay, I'm going to place a polyomino here. Okay, I'm going to place a polyomino here. And you're drawing things frantically from a bag. That seems like a lot of fun. And $35 US feels decent. Here's where you get the first-time creator hurt. It's not bad for US UK, $15. I mean, it's going to be a smaller box, right? There's not a lot of stuff happening here. So $50 total to get it to you, $55 to get to Canada, so like $75, $80. That's too much for me to spend. But I am legitimately impressed with the simplicity of this design, and not impressed with the campaign page, but that can be excused. They got some good graphics in terms of how to play. That pretty much told you all you really needed to know, other than the line of sight rules and how you draw the polyominoes. But yeah, this is the reason why I like doing Crowdfunding Countdown. This is exactly the reason why I like doing it. It's got a small goal of 10,000. It's crossed it at 13,000 right now. And I think it's a reasonable price for what it is. Shipping is, the best that a small time creator can really do. And I like finding these gems that I feel are undersupported, like this and Gem Pay from a couple weeks ago. This one looks fun. So if you want a 2-player game or a 1-player game where you're just racing against a clock, I assume, I think 2-player would be the optimal way to do it. But then again, I'm not a solo player. Anyway, if you're interested in that, check that out. That's Thursday, November 17th at 8:59 a.m. Very impressed. Much more impressed with Super Snipers than I am with our next one, Spirit Island Nature Incarnate. And it's raised almost $1 million. There won't be 5 reasons you shouldn't back this video because, well, I'm getting to it now in the crowdfunding countdown, and I'm getting busy this weekend. This weekend, hopefully, I might be able to take 1 or 2 days off to play some board games with some people, and I'm very, very excited about it. I'm filming this currently on the Thursday before next Monday. Usually I do it over the weekend. So if anything changes, well, this is where we're at right now. And here's the thing about Spirit Island Nature Incarnate. I think Spirit Island is a really great game. It's a game that I own. It's a game that I'm happy to own. It's a game that I really enjoy playing. It's also a game that I've never felt the need to purchase an expansion for because I don't play it at that much. I don't play it enough to warrant an expansion. You get a lot in the base game because you get 8 spirits and they all play differently. In this one, you get 8 new spirits. I like that it is 8 new spirits. Those are what's really fun about the game, is figuring out your particular spirit and how you navigate the land. It's a cooperative game for those of you who don't know. Maybe there'll be a picture of the board somewhat. There'll be these sections on the board, and you can see in white these invaders have come in, and you play these spirits of the island who are allied with these little mushroom Dahan houses that you see on the board as well. And you're trying to kick the people off the island before they colonize everything and gentrify it, just like my neighborhood. It's a fun game where you have a lot of decisions and variable space. I've always found it to be fairly easy, but I think it's just because I've never played with the advanced foes. I've always kind of played against the base game, and so it feels like a bit of an inevitability at that point. So I should up the levels from there. But here's why you shouldn't back this. There's one reason you shouldn't back, and it should be pan-applicable for everyone. Here we have a $55 value. This is what the game will cost. This is what the game will cost you in stores. Since it is on BackerKit, there are no stretch goals. They are dealing with daily reveals. Woo! We can see 2 unique power cards revealed. Do you know how you can reveal all of the power cards? Just go buy it at retail. And I'm not saying you shouldn't buy Spirit Island content. Spirit Island is a fun game, but again, not extra content that I need. But here we have the $55 pledge. Okay, here we've got for another $15, you can get sleeves. A nice sleeve bundle. That's cool. Or instead, for a $35 bump, you can get the premium token pack. In all cases, you get foil spirits, so don't worry. So $35. And the sleeve pack was only $15. So in order to get both of them, it should cost you $105. Oh, it costs you $125. But really, it's just this, and this does not make that. That's the dumbest thing. They have addressed it in the updates. I remember seeing this early on. This has been the way. This is the way. Since the campaign launched, and they addressed it early on. They said, hey, listen, some of our wires got crossed. I think this was along the gist of it. They said, some of our wires got crossed, and we're actually giving things to you for less of an amount than we meant to. So you get a deal on those less of an amount things. And I just think that's dumb or garbage or untrue, or I don't know what I think it is, but I think it's dumb. I think that this number should be 105 because that's what it is, and they're deliberately not allowing you to get these extra add-on packs and to add things to the pledge to just upsell you if you wanted to get it. So don't get the sleeves whatsoever. If we look at the pledge levels, you'll see that the Flocking Red Talents has 3,800 people. The Bargain of Coursing Pass has still 762 people. What are you doing? This is bad Kickstarter backing. If you were one of those 762 people, you should slap yourself silly because there are ways to get sleeves. Producing sleeves is not a magical thing. It's not like you will not find sleeves for Spirit Island. You will, and you will find them for this $15 level or less. They're not that expensive. It makes me so mad just to see this blatant upsell and for their response to be not, oh yeah, we'll change that. It was, oh no, that's what we wanted to sell it as, and we're just going to keep it that way in case you don't notice or do the math. Basically what it comes down to. That's how I feel about that one. Really turns me off completely, and in essence, there's no reason to get it now because you're going to be paying, $10 to $16 in shipping or $26 to $39 in shipping, depending where you live, for something that when you get it in stores, it'll cost you $55. It will. There's zero reason to back this other than if you're a big Spirit Island fan and you want to support Greater Than Games. I understand that aspect completely. I did that for Unfair, and hey, totally. You want the more content. You're willing to give them a bunch of money and give the Postal Service a bunch of money in order to make sure that it does happen. I get that, but I just think it's dumb. That's that one. If you're interested in that, which you're not, I know, but that finishes the 17th at 3 p.m. Let's move forward to Trickshot, the second edition, the lightning fast ice hockey board game with cool plastic miniatures and streamlined rule set. Now, I wonder if you can combine Watch Hockey Get Drunk with Trickshot and turn this into a skirmish drinking game. Did that blow your mind? This one looks fun. There aren't a lot of sport games out there. There aren't. I think they might have reached out to me and said, hey, can you do a review for us? And I think that was in September when I had zero time. And I'm still trying to catch up from World Series of Board Gaming stuff as we prep for the next year. And this is sort of a counterintuitive dice rolling system. You start with no dice, and whenever you activate a player, you add a dice to your pool. So you can have more chances of success, but you also have more chances of failure, and then your turn ends. So your build-up play might really come off, or you might slip and fall down. But basically all you're going to do is you're going to pick a character. These are things that I think you're going to really want painted. You're going to pick a character, you're going to activate them, you're going to roll some dice, and then pick another character and activate them and move them along and try to score a goal. You know how to play. It's hockey. You're just rolling dice to see if you make your action or not. That's it. It's €59, $80 Canadian. But this is one of those things where I would consider more than I normally would. Oof, until you see that shipping, and it's just so expensive. So it's like $80, $84 US, like 90, $110, $120 Canadian. When you're getting into that bar, you have to really be stoked for it. But it does admittedly look pretty fun, and I think it fits a hole in the genre that isn't often filled, which is something the Cosmoctopus might have said during its tentacle party, and also whenever you see a sports board game. So I think that's cool. I'm glad that they're doing well. I think they're doing well. Yeah, 800% funded. That's doing pretty well. 240,000 raised. Way to go, Trickshot. Proud of you. So if you're interested in that, check that out. That's the 17th at 4 p.m. Moving along to Elves, Employee of the Month. A roll and write, print and play family Christmas themed game about helping Santa to build toys and to fill stockings. Unpaid labor. The roll and write. Yes, Santa, we're on to you, okay? Stop union busting. Santa is the biggest union buster of them all. Which, of course, is why he's making you print out your own game instead of making it for you. We're onto your racket, Santa, and we've had enough of this. This looks exactly like a roll and write that I looked at before. Kind of looks a lot like that roll and write where you're going into rooms in a ghost house, and you have to use a dice to enter a room, and then you can use a dice to take some actions. I do love this. What do you want for Christmas? Write it here. That's cute. Be a fun one to play with your kids, I think. But you're basically just rolling dice, entering a house, and rolling more dice and seeing if you get the loot that you need. So not much like strategic depth whatsoever here. Really nice art. I like Christmas-themed games. I also think there aren't enough good Christmas-themed games out there. And not that this is necessarily one of those, but I think it looks fine. So if you're interested, you like roll and writes, it's certainly not going to give you any strategic depth, but it'll give you some choices and maybe to play with kids. Check it out. November 17th at 4 p.m. Moving along to Chicken, your new favorite dice game. A lot of dice games this round, but this one has raised a lot of money, which I was going to skip it, and then I saw the amount, and then my eyes just became dollar signs, like ka-ching, and I turned into a cartoon version of myself and thought maybe if I continue down this route, I might meet Jessica Rabbit one of these days. Or Maggie. I've already met Maggie. All right. Oh, Maggie and I have met at least half a time. Now, it's not a co-op game. You are returning dice to the coop. This is where your extra dice will live. It's a very easy push your luck game. Looks kind of fun. I wonder how much it is. $20 for the retail edition, $28 to Canada. Yeah, I say that's a very fair price for this. You're going to get this tube, you're going to unroll it, and you're going to move your chicken racer around the edge. You're going to roll these dice trying to get eggs. If you get eggs, they hatch into more chickens. And you can count your chickens before they hatch and after they hatch when you're rolling them. And you want to keep on rolling them and not roll foxes, because if you roll foxes, you bust and then you lose all the points that you accrued. So it's can't stop with chickens. Lovely voiceover. If you listen to it, sounds like Paula Deming to me. I don't know if Paula Deming does do that, but my bet is that she did do that. Or it's a Paula Deming impersonator that Paula Deming needs to track down and find. It will cost you $35 for the additional stretch goals, but who cares? You're not going to get it. This does not require a deluxe version. The retail version should be more than fine, even though 3,500 of you tend to disagree, because look, you get wooden eggs and a funky chicken and a big tractor. Woo! Although $0 shipping to the US for the deluxe edition. Well played, chicken. It's $4 to the US, $7 to $10 to get to Canada. Honestly, reasonable. I don't think I want to pay $40 for this game, $40 Canadian, but you might want to pay $24 US for a quick dice chucking can't stop. Yeah, for a push your luck game, great job, chicken. I can see why it's raised as much as it has, because it is very accessible. So if you're interested in that, that also finishes 4 p.m. at Thursday, November 17th. Moving along to Hidden Leaders, Forgotten Legends, the expansion including 3 modules to enhance the 2021 smash hit Hidden Leaders, an unusual deduction game. And I haven't played Hidden Leaders. I've heard things about it, and those things have been people saying, hey, has anyone heard about Hidden Leaders? And to that I say, the art looks like Almost Innocent. I think it's from the same person. And Hidden Leaders looks fun. I think the expansion looks like it's going to add a few things to the game. You're going to add individual heroes into your party and into your group, and they in turn are going to affect these tracks, and you're going to move factions up and down the tracks, and the person at the end of the faction track wins. It reminds me a lot of Veiled Fate, and if it comes in at a price that's cheaper than Veiled Fate, well, it probably will, because Veiled Fate is very expensive. Hidden Leader is coming in at €24, $33 Canadian for the deluxe base game. And then with the Forgotten Legends expansion, it just adds in a 5th faction that you can move around stuff with, and it also adds in these extra 1-time use or 3-time use ability cards throughout the game that you can just tweak your own party a little bit more than you might have in the past. 21 new heroes, 4 new leaders, 6 artifact cards. Yeah, the artifact cards are what you want. And it's 18 euros for that. This is making me laugh. €1 equals 99 cents US. Approximately, until things change. 18 euros for the Forgotten Legends expansion, 39 euros for the combo pack, which is 53 Canadian. Shipping is 9 to the US. Pretty good. 14 to Canada. It's okay. So that means it's 38.50 to get to Canada. I wonder if 401 Games has this. I should really tell 401 Games to sponsor me, or just go to Board Game Bliss and get them to sponsor me, because I always check this sort of thing. But it's because they've got great prices here in Canada, both on 401 Games and Board Game Bliss. No, they don't have it. So not a wider retail cost, and you could potentially get in on a group buy. I like bluffing, I like deduction, and I like a cheap price. The only reason why I wouldn't get this is because I have Veiled Fate, and I really enjoy Veiled Fate, but this feels like it might scratch the same itch at a cheaper cost. And you know who I'm loyal to? You know which faction I'm loyal to? The faction of the cheapies. The cheapy boy factions. Also the faction of bad boys and wicked women. So if you're interested in that one, check that one out. That's Friday, November 18th at 12 p.m. Excited to have looked at it. I think it looks good. Next up, we have Hitodama, a whimsical board game. Take the role of a guardian to defeat a colossal ice rival and unveil the beautiful story behind it. Ugh. Okay, it says there's a rulebook. It says there's an English rulebook there, but there's no rulebook. So no rulebook on this page, and just the briefest outline of how to play it. It looks like it's worker placement and pick up and deliver. You get resources, you deliver resources. You ally with some people, and you confront the Hitodama, and you get the most points to wins. It's useless to me. I am disappointed in this, especially because I'm thrilled that it's being produced entirely in Mexico. There's free shipping for everybody in Mexico. That's a great job. Why are you not telling me how to play it in a better way than you are? And even in the updates, when it says, hey, we will have the rulebook, we have it in English and in Spanish. Where are you? Where are you? So that's it. If you want to take a risk on that, go for it. But it's also $90 Canadian plus shipping, so no thank you. Sorry, Hitodama. That's it for this one. I'm not going to waste your time with it anymore because they don't even want to let me know how to play, which is a shame. Next up, we have Slay the Spire, something I do know how to play that has raised $2.74 million. 20,000 backers want this game instead of paying for the video game to get exactly the same experience. But I'm excited to look at this campaign page because I haven't looked at it since the first couple days, and we'll see if anything is improved. They're emphasizing that you can get $5 off shipping, all pledges, and then saying, look, this is the shipping. We're subsidizing it, which is, nice. They say the claw pack, which I bet they don't even explain what it is yet. That was the same. This is the same one single photo. Some add-ons that they've now added or had before. And this is important. There are localization partners. Here we go. You're going to be localized in a bunch of different things. And the daily reveals of some stuff that you get, maybe Kickstarter exclusive. Oh, here's where the claw pack happens, which they were already broadcasting at the beginning, that they were giving away the claw pack before they switched to the daily reveal model. And then now we're talking about this affecting the claw pack in foil. I don't know. I do love that the rulebook is here 3/4 down the page, and I do love that they're showcasing the shipping, and the shipping is incredibly reasonable. The price is still $100 US, 136 Canadian. The Kickstarter page looks better. It's still not enough for me to back because it's just not that different enough. If you read through the rulebook, it's great. It's a very well written rulebook. It tells you exactly what you need to know, and it told me exactly what I need to know to not even feel interested in purchasing it as a gift for Brandon, who loves Slay the Spire. I remember he really loves Slay the Spire, But for $100, well, Brandon, if you're watching, you're not worth it. Zach, I know you're watching. Don't tell Brandon. I'm just kidding. I don't know about this one. I think my 5 reasons still hold pretty strong. But there also is a tabletop simulator co-op module if you want to try this out beforehand, and I would recommend you do. And try it on Tabletop Simulator is different than just playing the video game on your computer. It may not feel like it, but it will feel like it because it's not automated. You can see if that non-automation is annoying to you or not. But this finishes up this week, Friday, November 18th at 3 p.m. So that's your warning. if you want to get it now instead of sometime in a store somewhere. Moving along to Role Player Adventures, the reprint and the new expansion, a reprint of the critically acclaimed co-op narrative board game for 1 to 4 players, plus a brand new expansion. I've heard great things about Role Player, and oof, this is a pricey one. They're hitting you with some important information, right off the bat. They're saying the first print run of Role Player Adventures sold out on day 1 and was only available in the US. Also, the first expansion never hit distribution. So if you're interested in this is the only place that they can produce it. But this is a giant storybook-driven campaign game. Rulebook 1/3 down. But all this is doing is covering the difference of the gameplay changes in Gulpax's Secret versus the other campaigns. And that's the thing. Role Player Adventures is essentially just a big choose-your-own-adventure campaign. You're going to be getting cards and dice and ways to mitigate and manipulate those dice, as well as gathering these keywords that will affect portions of the story. If you have a certain keyword, you can do something when the narrative text says, can you do that thing? $130, $176 plus shipping just feels like a lot for a choose your own adventure game, even as lauded as it is. $20, yeah, so $150, so it's over $200 for this big choose your own adventure game. You gotta really love a choose your own adventure game if you want to pick this up. I don't think I love it that much, but it looks cool. It just doesn't look like something that I'm personally interested in backing on Kickstarter in this Kickstarter capacity, and certainly don't need this extra content. But if you like Role Player Adventures, yeah, get the extra content because you love it, obviously. I just don't think you need to run screaming towards your computer. Maybe you're already on it. Well, you're on some device if you're watching this. Although maybe you're checking out the inscriptions, the stone tablet inscriptions that I have commissioned to be chiseled all around Toronto on every Monday. Maybe that's your preferred way of consuming this content. Doesn't help with the views, but I just like going the extra mile. If you're consuming it in that way, you don't have to run screaming towards your computer to purchase everything Role Player's Adventures. I think Role Player itself, the cheaper and potentially better way to experience the Role Player system, because they did it first. But if you're interested in that finishes Friday, November 18th at 5 p.m. Moving along to Wander Lecluck's Revenge. And the only reason I'm interested in covering this is because they're clearly doing a take on the evil ghost pirate LeChuck from Monkey Island. That's the only reason I care. They've just crossed their funding goal, $85,000 of a funding goal. I also like to see that. I like to see when funding goals are realistic and they haven't had to cancel. You're in one. And speaking of Choose Your Own Adventure, this is a Choose Your Own Adventure dungeon crawler. That's what it says. The minis here look fun. I mean, the mini, is it still up on the screen? No, it's not. It looks exactly like the evil voodoo pirate LeChuck, or ghost pirate LeChuck, or, man, I need to just purchase Monkey Island, because the new one's out, and oh, that's such a good series. This really just makes me want to purchase Monkey Island, because I cannot imagine how this could be better than that. There we go. The evil ghost pirate LeChuck. They really lost the thread or the creativity with these names. They're like, yeah, we're going to make everything great. Flintlock Rodriguez. Nice. Cutlass Kate. Okay, fine. Lance. Waku. Amanda. Whenever I played laser tag, all of the, in London, Ontario, where I grew up, all of the frilled lizard witch doctor, the art in this is really fun. All of the guns would have a different name associated with it. You'd be like laser or cool person, whatever. And then there was one that was just Amanda. So I would always be Amanda. 007, Venom, and then Amanda. That's about what I expected it to cost. No ultra deal here. Where is the damn rulebook? Oof, big shipping, 25 to 30. And want all the updated cards and rulebooks? Yeah, new rulebook. That's what I want. Where is it? Where is it on this campaign? The amount of time I spend. Ridiculous. Well, I don't see a rulebook here, and I'll keep this segment in case some of you are big fans of Wander, and a shout out to Monkey Island, because I just want to talk about Monkey Island some more. Let me know if this game is any good, because I can't tell you. Looks like a very standard dungeon crawl, skirmishy style game where it seems fine, but mechanically what they've shown is just, oh yeah, you can fire yourself out of a cannon, you can ride on a raft to go punch people in the face. But other than that, I don't see any reason why I would opt for this over something incredible like Massive Darkness 2 for the same price. That's disappointing to me, but if you're interested, check that out. That's Friday, November 18th at 10 p.m. Yeah, just ridiculous. Moving along to Tabriz, the next game from the award-winning designer of Cascadia. And that's pretty huge because Cascadia is so popular, that's why we're putting it in the World Series of Board Gaming 2023. Welcome to the Tabriz campaign. We're so glad you're here. Well, remains to be seen how I feel. And here you're just getting the premium edition for $60 though. 81 Canadian. The premier edition with a playmat, metal coins. Yeah, shipping's $20 though, so it's 80 over 100. Do love the rulebook. It's in the how to play section though. Where are you? This one I think seems solid and fun and something you don't need a premium deluxe version of. The whole conceit of the game will be you're getting these commissions, you're gathering these resources, you're completing them, and then you're putting them under your player mat so that you get this thing every turn. Ooh, now I got some green paint to throw all over myself every round. Is it Christmas already? You'll also be going up on this little skill track, which will give you additional bonuses as you proceed through the game, which is fun, these two varied things. And it's going to be a pretty variable... Why can't I just have the board pictured for me? It's going to be a pretty variable setup every time because you can see these different shapes. That's how the different buildings go in different places, and you are sending your assistants out to get to these various spots. And the position of these buildings is important because you can only move up to 3 spaces orthogonally. I can see exactly the flow of the game. I can see exactly it chaining together very well. And I can also see me never needing to get it off the shelf because I have other games that do similar things. But who doesn't like worker placement and engine building, really? It's very possible that the implementation of this could be so satisfying that it blows those other things out of the water and it replaces things. I could see that happening as well. What you see is what you get. I just don't think you need to spend $100 on it, but you know me, I'm just a cheapy boy. Anyway, if you are interested in that, that finishes on the 21st, which is next Monday at 4 p.m. And finally, we are at our last campaign of the week, Unconscious Mind. And this has raised a heck of a lot of money, and it is put out at the perfect time by Fantasia Games because they've just delivered Endless Winter, and people are excited about receiving it, and now they're back for more. This time with 20% more penis. Freud! Dang it. All right, rulebook in the top corner of the page. I'm into it. I can see why so many people are calling this maybe their top game of the year, maybe their top 3, maybe their top 4. This is definitely in my top 100 games of 2022. No, that's actually not true. I can't say that yet. I've definitely looked at more than 100 games in 2022. Haven't played them, though. And this one looks cool. It also heavily features rondelles, and therefore it will also break my brain. Basically, there'll be these. It's not a great shot of it. Better in the rule book? No. This is the one time where you want those component shots. Here we go. You'll have your own... Oh, it doesn't even show your own little tableau over here. What the dang hell? Unconscious mind. Show me the penises that I need. Pictures. Dang it. I want to see the penises, okay? The components. Anyway, there'll be this main board here where you can put workers out. And what I think is neat is that some of these spaces are multi-worker spots. You can put your little speech bubbles out and you're going to say, yes, tell me about your dreams. And then you'll kind of take these things and upgrade your own little board. But every time you do an action on other boards, you move a little bit on your own little board, which can then do additional things for you. So you can trigger all the ideas that you've managed to acquire. You can unlock extra workers. You can help your person. There's a lot going on in this game. Basically, it's worker placement. That's all you need to know. Gathering resources, using those resources to chain into other things. And that little rondelle mechanic, and a little city mechanic, and a little publishing of books and theories mechanic, and using other people's theories and books. Don't worry about it. The things that I like about it are the multi-worker action, that you can use your workers multiple times on the same space to trigger more of the same action, and using your workers as this resource. I think that feels like a neat twist to me in terms of how you use these plentiful workers, and you'll want to get more and more workers, but it's not necessary
to diversify them, you might really want to double down on specific actions. That feels fun to me. The theme also feels fun to me. I like these little patients that you have that are just riddled with grief, and you have to interpret their dreams, and it says how you can interpret their dreams underneath. So if, for example, a patient, let's call them George, had a recurring dream where they were getting swaddled by two sumo wrestlers and then popped into an oven and then covered completely in butter and then just roasting and baking themselves until their skin was crispy. And then when they pulled the skin back, once they finished eating the skin, the crispy, delicious, salty skin, because they're obviously sweating and they're nervous. They see pictures of everyone who they've wronged in the past just etched in on their bone, bubbling and laughing and jeering at them. You would have to figure out what that means and why you were riddled with grief for ages about it. Hypothetically, have I mentioned penises? Just don't even try to hide that one. This one looks fun. It looks like a unique take on the worker placement genre, but it's also 70 euros, 95 Canadian, plus shipping. Stop giving me so many charts. You're allowed one chart, which is 22 euros. 10 euros for Europe, that's not too bad. 22 for Canada, that's just ridiculous. And this is one, again, that it's, I think, easy to get swept up in enjoying Endless Winter and enjoying the Kickstarter machinations and looking at all this sort of stuff and getting excited and saying, oh, look at those components and the beautiful trays. And you get your silkscreen components and your custom trays and a bigger box to store everything the campaign has to offer. But also, if we look at their Endless Winter campaign, I know that's being sold for $49 Canadian in stores, and it was being sold on the campaign for 50 euros, 60 bucks, that's like $80 Canadian, plus shipping, so 100. So almost double, right? If you wait until this is in stores, and everyone talking about Endless Winter, now I can actually go out and get it at the retail for 50% what you paid for it and have, 90% of an experience that you'll have. Because I'm obviously not you, and so therefore my games will be slightly more miserable, but we do what we can here. Are you kidding me, Endless Winter? Did you set this up just for me? Rule books of the game? This doesn't count. This doesn't count. But it kind of counts. But I love that instead of a late pledge button, here's just the rule books. Oh, Endless Winter. If I wasn't leaving and didn't have time to get to the store, I would go to 401 Games right now and buy it. I think I'm buying a copy of Endless Winter. Because of you, rulebooks. Because of you. Maybe that just means I should purchase Fantasia Games, Unconscious Mind. Well, the rulebooks are high up. They're not 100% high, though. Instead, we've got quotes about how it's, my number one game of the year, number 3 game of the year, probably number 1 game of the year. Endless Winter? Sign me up. Just get Endless Winter instead. If you're getting the hype and you think, oh, I heard Endless Winter was good, then why are you purchasing this that you'll get a year later? Just go out and get Endless Winter. That's some advice for Chris George right there. Anyway, if you are interested in this, definitely worth a look. Check that out. That finishes Tuesday, November 22nd at 4:30 p.m. That's next Tuesday. And that is it. We are done. Clean yourself up around here, Chris. We're done. That's it for the week. It was a long week. And every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you. The pick for me being the thing that I'm the most interested in out of the fair. And the pick for you being the thing that I think could be a legitimate back, could look fun. If you get it, you'll be happy with it. I don't even know. It's a pick for you. I'm just picking it for you. I'm not picking it for me. I'm picking it for you. And there's quite a few good games this week. I'm just looking through them now to see what's on offer. The pick for me is Endless Winter, it seems, at this point. I have a gut pick for me. My pick for me is going to be Hidden Leaders, just the base game or with the expansions. I think this is the one that I am the most interested in. It was a toss-up between the pick for you and the pick for me, and I'm really making the pick for you just another pick for me. Spoiler alert, the pick for you isn't Oathsworn, for all the reasons that I said before. I backed, come on, Death May Die. Fear of the FOMO, I did back it. Well, I've signed up for a group buy and pending the shipping, right? But then I also backed it for the winner of the giveaway so that I can handle the logistics of sending it and any extra shipping or whatever. But I think Hidden Leaders looks good. It reminds me of Veiled Fate, and Veiled Fate might be one of my favorite games that I played this year. And anything that reminds me of that is pretty good in my books. Very simple, a good price, a really, really good price. They also have a print and play. Like, come on, Hidden Leaders, you're just doing everything right. It looks very fun. It looks simple, fun, and I hope it hits those expectations, and I'm the closest to backing this one out of all the ones that are there. I think what's stopping me is that I do just like Veiled Fate, and I don't need Hidden Leaders then, but it still looks really nice. So that's absolutely my pick for me this week. And then my pick for you is a bit out of left field, but again, I think I want to reward it for looking cool, and that's Super Snipers. If you're interested in this real-time 2-player sniping game with polyominoes, it looks pretty fun. And I think it's a reasonable price point too. The shipping isn't that bad, and then you get to support a smaller creator as well. Looks like a neat little game that I hope works out to be pretty nice. I mean, obviously the pick for you could be Oathsworn. I think 125. It's not 125 though. It's 155. And so 155 is too much. That's why it cannot be the pick for you. It's not 125. Don't lie to yourself. It's 165 US. It's over $200 Canadian. And so even if it is the best, well, if it is the best game in the world, well, it's worth it. But I think there's other campaign games out there. Oathsworn, you have been toppled by Super Snipers. Let's switch those funding goals around. Well, no, if the funding goals are around, I'd probably give it to Oathsworn to try to help it out. Maybe not, because then people wouldn't be purchasing it and it wouldn't be the game of the year. So we're getting off on a tangent. Super Snipers, I think, looks good. That's the moral of this story. That's all I have to say about that. Okay.
And don't forget about Hike It.
Well, and that was a word from our sponsors about Hike It as well. So can't forget about that. I have some trauma. I have some trauma that I need Freud and his friends to help me with. Unconscious Mind does look really fun too. There's a few others that do look fun, like I almost said Hidden Leaders again. Tabriz looks fun. Unconscious Mind looks fun, right? The Cthulhu Octopus, Cosmoctopus looks fun. Like, there's a few that look fun, but they aren't the picks for me. That's it. You got your official picks. Pick for me, Hidden Leaders. Pick for you, Super Snipers. Pick for the Bears, Hike It. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and watching. I appreciate you all just so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. As always, let me know what you are excited about in the comments and anything that's upcoming. Let me know if I should go get Endless Winter, because they had that link to that rule book, and baby, that's, oh, I can't tell you how happy I am. Oh, I just wish it was a real campaign. See, I think I will end up backing on the spot when that first rulebook happens. I hope it's good. I reserve the right if it's just a bad game. The rulebook's like, haha, room and board, purchase this $1 million campaign. Well then, yeah, honestly, fair play to you. I'm gonna have to do it. Anyway, let me know what you are excited about, all that sort of stuff. Thanks for being here. My name's Chris George, and I do not have a catchphrase. But yeah, I really want to go out and get myself a copy of Endless Penis. Winter! God damn it.